Today, our guest is the head of Doctrine Journalists Military Research Center, Jasur Sumerenli. Welcome to our studio. Thank you. Yesterday, Azerbaijan joined the non-aligned movement. What can you say about this movement? This movement was founded in 1961 by a group of countries who wanted to stay away from the confrontation between NATO and Warsaw Treaty Organization. Later, a number of states joined the movement. As of yesterday, the movement has reached 120 member countries. The five main principles of the countries are mutual respect to one another's territorial integrity and sovereignty, refrain from aggression, refrain from interference in one another, equality and mutual respect, and living in peaceful environment. It's interesting that excluding South African Republic, all remaining 119 countries are non-democratic and developing. Are there Azerbaijan's neighbors among the members? Of the post-Soviet countries, Belarus, Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan are members of non-aligned movement. Besides, 15 of the member states, including Azerbaijan, are cooperating with NATO at present. Iran is also a member of the organization. If in future there is a tension between Iran and Azerbaijan, will the states recognize each other's territorial integrity? Iran, is in a broad military and political cooperation with Armenia. The member countries usually oppose the West. They oppose the U.S. operations in Iraq and Afghanistan as well. As for Azerbaijan-Iran issue, now Azerbaijan has to stay away from the Western sanctions against Iran because it joined the non-aligned movement. Is Azerbaijan strong enough to oppose UN sanctions? I don't think Azerbaijan is strong enough to bear it. It is sometimes considered a maneuver to take time to determine its military policy. Azerbaijan is actively attending several NATO programs, particularly in Partnership for Peace program, Individual Partnership Action Plan, and Azerbaijan is trying to adapt its army to NATO standards. In this regard, Euro integration is the main priority of foreign policy of Azerbaijan. So, the said step of Azerbaijan contradicts with this policy, doesn't it? It does contradict. Euro integration was set as one of the main priorities of the state in 2007 National Security Concept. Azerbaijan even now states that it's integrating into Euro-Atlantic zone. Some reforms have been held to adapt the army to NATO standards, but Azerbaijan's joining the non-aligned movement can cause crisis in Azerbaijan-NATO cooperation. I suppose Azerbaijan can suspend its participation in NATO's peacekeeping operations. Besides, it's not possible to withdraw military reforms. I regret that within 17 years of Partnership for Peace program, Azerbaijan's army has not yet been adapted to NATO standards. Today, NATO standards have not been applied in depth. It's only on surface. You can even now observe Soviet standards, both in legislation and both in personnel preparation. On the other hand, the military ammunition produced by the defense industry conforms to Western standards. There are many problems in this sphere. This process has been going on for 5 to 6 years, but there is no really Western standard arms produced. A great amount of ammunition is imported from the Ukraine, Belarus, and so on. Thank you for coming to our studio. Today our guest was the head of Doctrine Journalists Military Research Center, Jasur Sumerenli.